Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cactus Patch. I am your host, Glitch Cactus, but you can call me Cactus. And welcome to a new year. It is 2026, and this is the first Cactus Patch episode of the new year. And what a great way to start us off. We're doing things a little bit differently this time. Instead of a general topic about something happening in the community, we're having a little spotlight for the community. And the first person that we're super glad and proud to bring on is Radha, and we're gonna just get right into things. So, Radha, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. One thing, just the out of the bat correction might be a bit crazy. People do get the name pronunciation wrong. It is pronounced Roa.
Is it
It is
really?
very misleading. Yes, Irish spelling
Oh,
does crazy things.
I didn't even know. That's actually so cool. Wait, so Roa. Okay, good to
Yeah,
know.
Roa. Yeah, it rhymes with Noah. You got it. But yeah. Hi, my name is Roa. I'm org lead for Splatoon Stronghold. I've been an Irish competitive Splatoon player for about 5 years. Oh God, nearly 6 years now, actually.
It's scary
Um,
how time flies.
I, it's going to be. I'm actually closer to 6 years. It's going to be 6 years in a month. That's not okay. Um, yeah, I've been in the competitive scene since around 2020. Mostly a lurker at the beginning, but then I kind of got into um, community work through a small little wiper community server, and then it kind of escalated from there. And now I'm org lead for Stronghold. I'm doing content on my own channel. I'd like to think I'm very involved in the community, and my main focus is trying to build the community up and um, platform some interesting people and make sure that the community is a lively place.
Hey, honestly, love to hear it. The more people we have involved and really just trying to grow the scene or bring a shine to different areas that maybe don't get too much love is always exciting. Um, Talk to me about how you even first got into Splatoon to begin with. What was that kind of the first like eye-catching thing you saw about this game that made you go, I want to try that?
My first interaction with the game was I I first played it on my brother's Wii U on Splatoon 1. I
Hmm.
never owned Splatoon 1, and I think I've only ever played a single game of Splatoon 1. I
Fair.
remember it was on Arowana Mall, and I think I was just playing like Splatter Shot or Roller or something, like a really like basic beginner weapon.
Hmm.
Um, Not to call your main basic, but
Oh, look, it's okay. I admit it is. I admit it is. It's a shooter.
um, and I found it very challenging because I was like, well, what it was 2015 that Splatoon 1 came out.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
so anyway.
Splatoon 1
But
2015 because we hit 10-year
yeah,
anniversary
I was
last year.
11, so I didn't
Uh,
necessarily have I didn't have elite gamer skills aged 11. Um, so I found it very difficult and it didn't really click with me. Um, and then I got a Switch when the Switch launched, and I saw Splatoon 2 and I was like, okay, maybe I'll like the second one better, maybe I'll just like the game more. Um, and I played it at launch and I I enjoyed it. I got about a good 50 to 100 hours kind of just playing casually at launch, and I kind of enjoyed it, it was a really fun game. But I never really got into it past that. It
mhm.
was very much so a casual, just hop on for an hour here or there and just have fun.
Yeah.
I didn't really interact with the community at that point. Um, and then I kind of stopped playing the game after about a year or so. I'd pick it up here and there, but I wouldn't really. It wasn't a consistent thing that I'd partake in regularly.
Hmm.
But then um, around 2020, I got the double whammy of the pandemic and a bunch of health issues, which meant I
Oh,
was inside a lot
yeah.
and I had a lot of free time. And so I started kind of um, regaining an appreciation for the game. I saw a lot of videos at that point online. The big two that kind of brought me back in, and I would have brought a lot of people into the game to begin with, was Dude and Chera.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember specifically it was a dude tearing it up 96 gal.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and that video, I was like, "Whoa, people get good at this game." What? I didn't think, because like I knew people like took like any game under the sun very seriously, but
Yeah.
I just never had seen what it was like to be a very good Splatoon player.
Yeah.
Um, and seeing gameplay and discussion, especially because like dudes, the main thing I was like, whoa, people get really good at this game, and he's doing things that I never even like thought were possible. Like I was like so enamored with dude's gameplay. Back then it was like 2019 2020 when I kind of first started to get back into the game.
Hmm.
And then I remember watching Chara videos and hearing him like discuss the meta and the patch notes and like hearing more about like what a competitive scene is and how that kind of works in the first place at all and how the game is so much different than it is in just like solo queue like B rank or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I had a similar come up with getting interested into the game like from the content wise. For me, if it was Dude and Kiver because
Mm,
Dude, Kiver, Chara, like handful of other like well-known competitive players, like they were the early like content grinders. Like they were
yeah.
that bridge into showing you what the competitive scene was like, and it's really cool to like see them still active, see them still making content and doing it in their own ways, right? And it's really cool to see like not only was it just their thoughts, but also just their gameplay in general. Just seeing like you mentioned, like how this game can actually be played. Because it is really cool. Um, so was watching them kind of what got you or drove you into wanting to check out the competitive side of the game?
It was definitely like the biggest factor because like
Yeah.
I think I wish this was something that I had a clearer memory of, but I believe what got me into like actually making the jump and trying to get on my first competitive team
Mm-hmm.
was a video by Chara that was essentially like how to join competitive Splatoon. Like it was a very like it was a very deliberate video that was like designed to say here is the free agent server, here's how you make a free agent post. It might have been Shara, it might have been someone else. Like I wish I remember this more clearly, but I remember seeing a video and I was like, look, the world is like shutting down around me.
Yeah.
I'm not in the best of health, and I could talk about that a little bit more later on. But I was stuck inside a lot, and I found it difficult to interact with the outside world much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, and so having this online community where I could just sit in my room and I could like another thing because of my health issues, I found sitting up was very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So I for the first like 3 years of my honestly it was probably 4 years. For the first like 3 to 4 years of my comp playing, I played lying down in bed.
I mean that
With the
it's funny how that's also like not gonna lie like for most players how their setups are they're average every day playing still too.
yeah.
I can never I give props to people that were able to start that or try it whether they wanted to or not obviously but like it's just like
Mhm.
I tried it once I'm just like I can't it's just to me for me it was just like impossible.
But the setup was like I did it a couple of different ways. I would either like hold I would hold the Switch screen between my knees. And
No,
I would
that's
have like
creative.
the
No, that's
that's
creative.
crazy. That's a crazy one.
That's
Or
commitment.
I would have the Switch like balancing on a pillow on my chest and I would have the Pro controller like on my stomach.
Okay, yeah.
But creative, modern problems, modern solutions,
Yeah,
whatever.
no,
Um,
exactly. When there's a will, there's a way.
yeah, but yeah. So I saw some kind of video that was prompting to join the free agent server and make a free agent
Mhm.
post. So I did, and I got on my first team, and at the time I was like, damn, I'm on a competitive Splatoon team. I'm so cool. In hindsight, that was not a competitive Splatoon team. That was a
Mm.
group of friends who played the game together. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Sounds like every early Splatoon team, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it is. Like none of the aspects of what I would now consider to be a competitive Splatoon team were
Mhm.
present there.
That's right.
Um, um, and I think it took a while for me to not only realize that, but also like to agree that I wanted to change that.
Yeah.
Um, so from that, I kind of um, it took basically until Splatoon 3 then for me to like fully commit and say, no, I'm not just going to be like, I'll enter a tournament every now and then type thing. Like, I'm
Mhm.
actually going to commit and I'm going to try and I'm going to build a team and I'm going to practice and I'm going to go in with a competitive growth mindset.
Yeah.
Um, and I think, um, I think it took a lot to go from there's like different levels of like I remember in a video Fisk made, shout out Fisk, he's the legend, he's the goat, I love the man.
Mhm.
He was talking about activation energy, which is like the level of energy or like um the level of energy you need to give someone for them to take a step to do something.
Okay.
So most people in this scene are lurkers who will like never interact and who are just gonna like watch YouTube videos, who are gonna like play in tournaments but then like not do anything else.
Yeah.
They're just there. They're like barely interacting. They're just like a passive observer who plays the game sometimes maybe.
Mhm.
And that's the vast majority. And it took a lot of activation energy for me to go from that like I'm just watching Prochera videos and playing casually with my friends to wanting to compete.
Mhm.
Um,
Was there like
and
a specific scenario that happened that made you kind of like take that next step, or was it just like over time that buildup of like, you know what, it's time?
I think it was a couple of things. It was one like when I entered the scene, I my goal like very naively was like I wanted to be the best in the game. Like
Yep, been there.
I wanted to be the number one. You know, like every
Yeah.
I think that's like a very common goal because it's an easy goal to have.
Yeah.
Like anyone can pick up anything and say I want to be the best.
100%.
And then it takes a very select few to actually be able to put in the effort to be the best because
Mhm.
it takes a lot to be the best at this game.
Yeah.
To even be like top 100 in the world, it takes a lot to be really good at this game.
Mhm.
Um, it's energy that I will never have. I've completely accepted that.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna be close to that level, and I don't want to be. I'm comfortable not committing that much time.
Yeah.
um, but when you have a goal like that, when your goal or what you believe to be your goal, because like in hindsight that wasn't my goal.
Mhm.
Like I would show up with that goal and then not act on it. So
Mhm.
it was just like an idea I had, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I showed up with this idea of I want to be the best and didn't act on it. And then it kind of festered in me for a while. And at a certain point, I was like, look, I might as well just try. Because, like, if I'm saying I want to be the best and then I'm not doing anything to it, I'm never going to be the best.
Yeah.
Um, and it took a while for me to get to that point, but eventually I think, like, enough will, enough activation energy, like, builds in you that, like, you finally get to the point where you're like, okay, I'll just try it. Fuck it. Why not? Like,
Mhm.
I'll just go for it.
Yeah.
Um, and and I started competing more regularly towards the end of two and beginning of three.
Mhm.
Um, and then I got really frustrated. And I got really frustrated because I didn't know how to marry the idea that I wanted to be the best player in the world with the fact that I am not very good at the game.
Yeah, it's always the self-reflection takes the
Mhm.
longest first for some people to be able to grasp the idea of.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and then it took me a while to kind of sit with that frustration and sit with that. dissatisfaction with how I was playing and how I was interacting with the game and the community.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to like look at it and say, what actually do I get from being in this community and playing this game?
Yeah.
And like looking and seeing what parts fuel me, what parts energize me, what parts make me want to, well, not get out of bed to play the game because I'd be playing the game in bed, but what parts like energize me to continue to keep playing. Um, and it was around that point that I had realized I don't want to be the best, and I never did want to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wanted, I wanted to use Splatoon as a medium to meet other people, to grow as a person, to learn skills, to interact in like with different forms of creativity,
Yeah.
to help other people grow as people. Um, and I think when I learned that is around the same kind of time when I started becoming better at the game.
So in a sense, so changing the initial goal is what helped you, in a sense, work better towards achieving
Mm.
something like it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a marked point where like I my main goal stopped being, I don't even like calling it my main goal because it like I didn't do anything to service it. I
Mm-hmm.
just said it was a thing I wanted.
Yeah.
But like when I finally realized like what I was actually doing here and why I'm here and took active steps towards those goals, those meeting new people goals, those like having a healthy team environment, those like learning how to communicate with other people, like all of these individual things. When I made that clear in my head, that's when I started actually seeing improvement and like becoming not only a better player but like a better person.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's once you, I guess, have, I guess it's more of like when you have a goal for yourself that maybe seems more achievable or maybe just like realistic. Because like I had a similar goal
Mm.
where like same like you, as you like when I got started getting the game, I was like I want to be the best there is, and then obviously like that only can go so far before like something will happen and you'll realize like dang, that's hard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um so what you slowly start to choose a different route, or you start to I don't, not I want to say simplify, but I guess like break it down more to like lower steps that like maybe are more achievable for your current surroundings. So like you said, like sometimes you were like a lot like, because there is a lot of time to dedicate to being the best. So maybe it's like, okay, maybe instead of that I want to, like some people it's like I want to win lowing, that's my start. After
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
we'll go from there. Or some people it's like I want to win a local, that I know is in my area. Like they'll have certain goals that break down a lot um, more accomplishable than something that's so massive as what very few, that like the 0.001% of those that play this game could say that being the best there is.
Yeah. I think there's a degree to which it's also important to say, as much as it's like only one person can ever be the best, so it's like unreasonable that everyone wants to be the best because like that's not how that works.
Yeah.
Because only one person can be the best.
Hmm.
Um, it's also kind of, it's important that the goal actually means something and isn't just the easiest thing to think of.
Yeah.
Because you use the example of like I want to win low ink or I want to be low ink banned. And I think that's a trap people fall into, especially in early comp Splatoon,
Hmm.
where they see that and they like they hear, oh, there's a tournament that when you win it, people consider you mid level. Or
Yeah.
like that's like this is what low level is. Whether you think that's still the case, like
Like
is up for
nowadays.
debate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like at a certain point it definitely was, but like
Hmm.
people people in low ink alpha brackets scare me.
Yeah. No, I like to
Uh,
always chop it up that every year that passes by, people are getting better and better, and the ladder
yeah.
of skill and knowledge trickles down, as we've always seen it happen when top level maybe find something new or unique or interesting, or they change their mind about something. It always trickles down, and we see it, as low as like people who just start at the game. I mean, they see one video about what the current meta is, and they'll maybe either want to join in on that or challenge it and see if they can make something unique from it, and push it further at any skill level.
Mm.
So yeah, like I could definitely agree that like the low rank alpha now is way different when I was competing in low rank and fighting in alpha bracket.
It's definitely a whole another skill level, because as you were saying, it's like it's not that like it's not that the people the skill level is ever increasing at every skill level. Like every person who's still playing the game is continuously getting better.
Yeah.
So like low level now might be mid level 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Like that's a
No,
very reasonable thing
absolutely.
to say. Um, like again, what we define in the community as low level, mid level, high level, top level, like is so arbitrary and
Mhm.
honestly makes very little sense to me.
Yeah.
And it's something it's something I could talk about for a whole like 3 hours, but beyond the scope and not necessarily relevant to this. Um, to go back to like the idea of goals with something like winning low ink, I don't see that as a meaningfully like different goal than saying I want to be the best.
That's fair.
Because sure sure it's more achievable, but it's not necessarily just about achievability. It's about like actionability.
Mhm.
It's about like how can I have this goal and turn it into something that I'm actually doing. Because when I say like I like meeting new people and I like building a better team environment, those things are the things that are going to make you a better player.
Mhm.
And those things are the things that you can work on and make active changes to that will not only make you a better player, but also make you a better person.
Yeah.
Saying I want to win low ink is an idea. That's like big picture. That's far off in the distance. You got to put in work to get there.
Mhm.
I don't even want to hear like the biggest thing that I don't like hearing when I speak with low level like teams and players, and I've had
Mhm.
to have to interact with this a little bit in my time in the SBA,
Mhm.
is they'll say like, "Oh, what's your goal?" And they'll say, "I want to win low ink," or at the time when LSL existed, "I want to win LSL," or
Mhm.
like that you put so much like energy on the end goal that you like miss the entire path you have to take to get there.
Yeah.
And that I think is the thing I think people need to focus on more.
Mhm. No, absolutely. Because it's as the cliche as it is, it's not about the final destination. It's the path you took to get there.
Yeah, yeah.
And
The
so
friends we made along the way.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
uh,
genuinely, it is.
it really is. And like I love like always thinking, um, about how where I started to where I got to, and just thinking about all the people that I've met and got to talk to and just like got to experience things with, to where maybe as close as I got to a certain goal. Yeah, I'll never forget the day I tried to set up a pickup for Lowink with some friends, and one of them, who was the quote unquote captain, who just set us up on what was it, Battlefy at the time? Yeah.
Yeah.
But this the pre-Sendu days.
Back in my day, we were not Battle 5.
um, I still remember that DM they got because they screenshot and sent it to me that I was low ink banned from results I had previously had, and it wasn't even like, it was exciting, but it wasn't even, my first thought was like, wow, I did it. It was, wow, look at what I did to get that. Look at the people I got to
Yeah.
play with, the friends
Mm.
I got to make, the connections, the opportunities, and like you said, it's the more individuals focus about the journey rather than the destination, the more not only will they like probably have a higher chance of achieving that goal, but the more they'll enjoy it. The more they'll be able to
Yeah.
have more memories attached to it, besides just the memory of, yeah, I won low wink, or yeah, I won this event,
Hmm.
or um so I do 100% agree with that statement. Yeah, it's something that I think a lot of players nowadays too, that maybe like find themselves struggling a little bit more to achieve that big massive goal they set. um they'll be able to, if they change that, like that thought process just a little bit, they might be able to go a long way.
Mm. I've met many like mid-level players who, upon being low ink banned, I'll hear them say stuff like, I wish I took my time. Like
Hmm.
I wish I didn't rush being like that being my big goal, and I actually like sat and enjoyed being in low level for a bit and playing in these
Mm-hmm.
tournaments that I now never will be able to,
Yeah.
like with my friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which it's an interesting facet about our community when we focus as heavily as we do on skill caps and skill bans.
Mm-hmm. It's the suffer from success when you know
Quite
that
literally.
yeah, it's like as crazy as that sounds, but like it really is because like if you're if some because it's always like the 1%. I always like to say like the people that are really truly dedicated competitive, they're the highest of the high 1% because they're gonna do what
Mhm.
not a lot of other people will do in this scene, and that's try as hard as they can and find the routes that will get them to their goal, even if that means, unfortunately, not being able to play with some in a competitive like tournament wise, with some friends that chose to take the slower route or the more relaxed route of like, yeah, I'll play like here and there, and I'm just gonna enjoy the time rather than I want to get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So outside of competitive, what drove you to do more in the scene? When did that kind of start the idea of, like I want to do more than just be a competitor?
Um, I think I always had it in me.
Hmm.
Um, it's just something that I think it's a more complex thing to understand about yourself than the desire to like compete and win is. Because
Hmm.
I feel like the desire to win and experience like that rush of victory is a very like primal thing.
Yeah.
Like you can go back to like caveman times and it's like, oh, I threw rock farther than Ugg. I'm the better caveman. Grr. Like like that like just makes
Yeah.
sense because like you can track that back like evolutionarily, like you're more likely to be successful and happy and all these things and get more food and like that's like a very primal thing.
Hmm.
But I feel like it's a lot harder to understand the very complex nature of like, no, I don't want to play in the game where people have fun. I want to help other people allow themselves to play in the game where people have fun.
Yeah.
It's like inherently more winding and complex a way to receive that fulfillment.
Hmm.
Um, but I think it was around the same time that I kind of had that moment where I sat there and I realized I don't want to be the best.
Hmm.
Um, and that was kind of around the beginning of Splatoon 3. Um, I remember to kind of give a bit of context. I when I saw the Splatoon 3 direct and they revealed Splatana Wiper,
Hmm.
I saw that weapon and I was like, that's my main. I saw it. I wish I recorded it. I wish I had the proof, the evidence. I did. There are witnesses who were there that day, and they saw my obsession.
Yeah.
I might even have like an old Discord post from like the day it dropped or whatever. Where I'm like, this is gonna be my main. I'm calling it.
Yeah.
It had my favorite sub weapon. It had my favorite special weapon, and I
Hmm.
was like, oh my god, I am like, I cannot believe it. This weapon looks like made for me.
Hmm.
Um, and then Splatoon 3 dropped and there was the test fire and I was like, "Oh my god, this weapon is so fun. I love it." I was really bad at it. I'm watching I recorded clips from the global like test fire
Oh
for
yes,
Splatoon 3
yes.
and it my gameplay in that makes me want to like I don't want to have eyes anymore. Like it's so bad. Um and I took that like passion and love and I was like, what can I do that like because I love this weapon so much that like I want to do something for it.
Hmm.
So at the time I was kind of just like the biggest thing that people like know me for if they don't know me for Stronghold is for being a Twitter shit poster because I was I was a fucking massive Twitter shit poster dude. I was on that shit. I was on that grind.
Yeah.
I would post like so often. I would like deliberately engagement bait. Like I was cooked. Um, and I would interact with a bunch of people who liked Wiper on Twitter.
Hmm.
And I was like, what if I made a montage that was like a bunch of different people's Wiper clips?
Hmm.
And I was like, that's really cool. Like that's just a cool idea. It's like this community thing. Everyone submits it like different clips, and I like put it all together. I put it to like cool music, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, And to organize that, I created the Splatana Wiper community server,
Okay.
which I don't know if it still is. I'm not involved with it in any way. I've handed it over to someone else now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but at the time, at least when I was involved, I think it was the third biggest weapon specific Discord server behind
Mm-hmm.
only two Bamboozler servers.
That's
But
pretty
like
good.
Bamboozler players are insane, so like
Yeah.
they can have it. Like I don't want to mess with them. Um, um,
They're a strong force in the community. You don't want to go there.
don't want to mess with 20 PP personally. Um, but and I created that server to kind of host the montage, and people could submit in a channel and all that. And I got a lot from like people being like, "Whoa, my clip was in that. That's really cool. This is a really cool thing."
Mm-hmm.
And having people like appreciate a thing I did for everyone else. Like
Yeah.
I didn't do this because I was like, "Damn, this is." Like I did it for me. Like I enjoyed making it too. Like I was in a bit of a montage kick at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I did it because I was like, I like this weapon so much that I want other people who also appreciate it to like feel joy.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
um, and I think it was that experience through both like creating that montage and then like after the fact having this server with like I don't even know how many, like a couple hundred Wiper players in it. And it's just like, whoa, this is such like a cool place. And managing that for a good while was like my big contribution, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I always felt like I could do more. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was a cool place, and there's like a lot to be said about having these communities where it's dedicated to specific things and everyone's very close with each other. And it's a place where you can find like fulfillment that isn't necessarily just like it's a bit more silly and lighthearted. It's like, oh, we all just like this fun weapon.
Yeah.
Um, I always felt like I could do more, and I think I kind of sat and I didn't really engage with it much else after that. I'd like talk a lot in there. I would if like I discovered funny wiper tech, I'd post it there. There was lots of kind of technical discussions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember I went frame by frame on different wiper animations, and I like made a spreadsheet of like wiper frame data that still exists somewhere.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, just have a place where like if you enjoyed this weapon and you're able to find the server, you'd have access to all these cool resources.
Yeah.
Um, and I liked contributing that, but it felt like so niche
Mm-hmm.
because it was just one weapon. Like I felt like I could be doing so much more with my time and the effort I was putting in. And it was around that time I saw um an ad that Stronghold put out asking for staff.
Okay.
Um, and I was like, yeah, like I've had enough experience working in the community at this point because like I had run the server for I don't even know how long I was involved with it, but I definitely like a good few months to maybe even a year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that I was like pretty heavily involved in the running of it. Um, and I saw it and I was like, sure, like I'll give it a go. I applied to be like a guide writer because I thought because outside of Splatoon I am a writer.
Yeah.
I do I'm a journalist and I'm a like a I write in my own personal time as
Oh,
well. So like
cool.
it was just like a cool like extension of my like kind of skill set.
Yeah.
I was like, sure, I can write some guides for some people. I can like consult with some people who know the game better than I, and then like write down the knowledge that'll be passed on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it took a while for them to get back to me, but I got accepted and I was put on staff. And I've seen Stronghold change a lot in the nearly 2 years. I think it's about a year and a half that I've been there now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've seen it change a lot. So many staff have like left little bits of them within the org through like coming and going, and structures have been built up, and I've seen a lot of the org is not the same org it was when I joined.
Yeah.
Um, and I think, like, as someone who's been in a lot of different positions within the org, I joined as a guide writer, and then I became like a team manager for the Stronghold Beginners Academy, and then after that, I did all of like our blog writing stuff. So like I set up the our blog on the website. Um, then I kind of set up all of our content creation stuff, and I was kind of running both of those at the same time.
Mm.
Um, and then I became very involved with kind of overall direction that the organization was taking,
Okay.
um, and kind of what our big purpose was and why we choose to even like, because it's very Stronghold as an org is in a very interesting position where it's the everything org.
Yeah.
Whereas like IPL and Dapple and Under Pressure and these big orgs, they do tournaments and they
Mhm.
don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
Like their job is to run events and that makes sense. Stronghold, not saying that Stronghold can't run tournaments, like, but our our big purpose isn't to just run events. We have so many different facets, some of which are like completely unrelated to each other, that
Mhm.
all operate under the same like banner, and that's inherently going to be like just a huge org with like so many different aspects to it. That's gonna be um that's gonna be more difficult to run
Yeah.
and keep together. I think Stronghold is it's on the right track currently, towards becoming a real stronghold, to becoming a real point, like to bring the entire scene under one banner and have this one place that no matter who you are and what you do and how you want to interact with this community, if you go through Stronghold, you'll be able to get to it, and that's
Yeah.
the end goal for me. That's the dream is that if you want to interact with this community in any way, if you go to Stronghold, you will be able to find out how you can do that.
Yeah. No, and I think that's a very
Um,
strong goal to have, especially with like as you've so far have mentioned how many how much contribution you've given into Stronghold.
it's it's an entire army of people. I don't think I could count the amount of staff that I've seen work at Stronghold over the past 2 years or so.
Mhm.
It would be too many people. I cannot even know all of them. There are so many people who contribute so much. Um, and I don't even want to sit here and like give thanks to individual people because I will forget someone and I will be here for hours if I talk about all the contributions that like so many incredibly important people have
Yeah.
given to that org. Um, the main the main thing about Stronghold to me is that it is that like unifying place, that it
Yes.
is, because for so long I think I didn't understand the purpose of what I was doing. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be this like uh s like the top of the league. I wanted to be the number one. I wanted the glory. I didn't understand the what I actually got from competing, which
Mhm.
was like which was like belonging and growth and like understanding myself better and a reason to show up to a thing at like 7 p.m. on a Saturday and just
Yeah.
like hang out with my friends, just an excuse to do that, and like excuses to interact with other people, and I love interacting with people. To have that place that teaches you how you can do that in any way you want. I
Mhm.
don't care how you interact with this game. I don't care if you're a comp player. If you're a comp player, if you're a casual player, if you do speed running, if you're an overfisher, like I don't care. If you get anything out of this like game itself, I care about the community. I
Mhm.
care about having people that like show up and like be together and like have a purpose of like growth and moving forward and having all of this, like just incredible interaction and like liveliness. That's what I want. That's what I want people to turn to Splatoon for. I
Mhm.
don't care if you win. I don't care if you lose. That's great. But I want you to have fun, dude.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's some aura farming right there. But no, I think that's such an amazing want for not even just yourself for what to achieve, but what you hope to give out there and hope to leave a mark on is that being able to have created something that is, as you said before, so unifying that allows
Mm.
every part of the community, no matter what it might be, like comp, casual, you know, table turf, salmon run, like speed running, like no matter what it is, there's a place where everyone can interact with each other or find what they're seeking. And you've put in a lot of effort into Stronghold, along with the many tons of others that have before and after, when you originally joined, that are pushing towards that goal. And I think that's an incredible, uh, an honorable achievement to want to reach and to have.
I think there's a long way to go in fully realizing it. I don't think in my time within the org I will fully realize it.
Hmm.
I accept that. I
Yeah.
think it's a goal that's like, again, I think the best goals are the ones that you can continually like take action towards but never fulfill.
Yeah.
Like when I have the goal like I want to meet more people. How much isn't more people? I don't know. I want to meet more people. Like it's just a
Yeah.
continuous like in the door, hello, how are you? Okay, but like this is nice meeting you, and then you get in the next person, and it's just this continuous cycle. And when I have the goal with Stronghold of saying like I want anyone to be able to interact in any way, I'll never finish that.
Hmm.
That'll never be completable. Because there's always going to be someone unique who wants to interact in some new way that no one has ever thought about.
Yeah.
And that person is equally valid as everyone else.
Yeah.
So Stronghold, I think we have a long way to go. I think we have a really solid foundation. I think we have a lot of people who are extremely passionate.
Hmm.
Um, and I think the future is only going to get better. That's my take. That's my take.
Oh, that's a beautiful take to have. With a lot of that you have done within Stronghold, do you have one thing that you would say is one of your greatest achievements?
People, people like especially given how varied my existence in this community has, being like the weapon gimmick person, the Twitter shit poster, the guide writer, the team manager, the interviewer, the org lead, the like I've had so many different things that I've done
Hmm.
in like in different aspects. This is something that I think about a lot. Like, what was my favorite thing to do? What did I get the most from? And every single time, it always comes back to the SBA for me.
Hmm.
Um, with the kind of work I do, it's very hard to feel the effects of it um, because it can often be very detached
Hmm.
from the actual people it's helping. Um, like if I'm having like a multi-hour long meeting about a project and then it's just like very organizational work and telling other people like what aspect of it that they're working on, and I'm
Hmm.
not on the ground interacting with the people who the service is helping, it can feel very like disconnected, like I'm not actually doing something that's directly benefiting people.
Yeah.
With the SBA, to be able to take five complete strangers and put them on a team together and mentor them over the course of about a month and see them come out the side, not only like going from strangers to like family, but also going from going from like a complete lack of any concept of what the competitive community is to like never wanting to leave,
Hmm.
to seeing people go from like I don't want to talk too personally about the different like areas in which I've seen people grow from their time in the SBA, but I truly have seen so many people's lives absolutely transformed through their introduction into this community.
Hmm.
And the SBA is what like always reminds me of like what I do and why I do it.
Yeah.
It's so easy to like become so detached and forget the reason and forget the purpose and forget like that scared version of myself who was ill and found it hard to even like get out of bed and didn't have a community and didn't have friends and didn't have these social interactions and all of the things that this community has given me.
Hmm.
And it's easy to neglect that other people are that right now and
Yeah.
that other people need this as much as I needed it then. And that's the SBA serves as a constant reminder of that to me, where I see the effects that are directly caused by someone else picking up this silly Squid Game.
Hmm.
Like it sounds so it sounds so dumb. It really does, and I'm aware of it. That I sit here and I go on about these long spiels about how like this game can transform lives. But when I see then like people who I've become close friends with have these experiences that like completely transformed their lives and they would not be the same person, they would not have the confidence, they would not have the chance to go back to education, they would not have the chance to want to get into that job that they wouldn't have applied for had they not built up the skill through playing Splatoon. Like it's really silly, but it happens. These are real people's lives.
Yeah.
Like I got into writing because of Splatoon. I wanted all of I'm living proof of this. Like on my resume for like the job I actually applied for, I put my stronghold work. Like it doing all of the things that I've done through Splatoon have changed my life. And
Hmm.
I know so many other people who that is the case for.
Yeah, and
So that's what I'm most proud of.
I think that's awesome, and it's crazy that like I love how you mentioned the part where like it like doing something that's as a hobby has driven you to have a new goal outside. I think we talked about this once before when we had a conversation like a couple months ago, but like how doing something as your hobby or like in this game contributes so strongly to your life in a sense, your life that's outside of Splatoon.
Absolutely.
And it's really like it's crazy how like something like this, and I think maybe it just really chops down to this being such like a niche competitive game, and how like compared to other video games, how small our community is. The possibilities that really give a lot of players and a lot of individuals a driving force for something that's not just the game, that it's something more
Mm,
to it.
absolutely. I think it can be really easy to forget that like at the end of the day we're all just people interacting with a thing,
Hmm.
and that like we don't suddenly stop being people just because we're playing a game and
Yeah.
just because we're like interacting with each other on blue sky. Like it doesn't stop the fact that we're all just like souls touching other souls,
Hmm.
and that we're all just here for the same reason everyone else in the world who doesn't play Splatoon is here, and we're just choosing to spend our time doing this thing. This is just
Hmm.
the medium with how we interact with the world. It's not its own separate thing. This is a manifestation of human lives.
Yeah. And speaking of how you mentioned like one of your greatest achievements is, that forming helping others form that bond through the SBA. What kind of drove you to want to start that through Stronghold? What was kind of like your interest in, like thinking that this is something that you want to help assist with rather than someone else take over?
Mm. So to kind of give the history of the SBA in a nutshell, it was kind of just an idea that was floating around when I first joined.
Hmm.
Um, and there was a couple of people who had like applied for it, being like, yes, if it if it like starts up, I'd be interested in it.
Hmm.
Um, and there was a good few people like that. And how it ended up happening was, um, I applied to be the guide writer, as I had previously said, and I also had ticked the box saying if this team at the time it was called like Agents Team or something, like I
Hmm.
forget, because it was a play on like free agents.
Oh,
So I
okay,
think
yeah.
the idea was that it would be like we take all these agents and then we put them on a team together and it was going to be like spy themed. I think was
Okay,
the
yeah.
idea. It's cute branding. I think we decided against it because it was a bit confusing. When like agent was already a term being used, and we didn't want to
Give it
we didn't
multiple
want to just add
meanings.
confusion. Because like
Yeah.
when you hear beginners academy, you know what it does.
Yeah.
Like so we I think that name was chosen specifically because it was more it was more easy to understand. Um, but um, early on, so I had applied and I had like gotten onto the team from the beginning. But I wasn't necessarily on leadership for the team. It was just like um, I just saw the description of it where it's like we like put people on teams and bring them together, and I kind of just like, yeah, that sounds cool. Like I didn't give it much thought at the time. Um, which in hindsight is really funny to me because
Hmm.
now it's like I say, oh, it's my greatest achievement and it's the thing that I look on and it reminds me of my meaning and my purpose in life. And then it's just like I didn't give it much thought, I kind of just did it.
Yeah, it's a very
um,
nonchalant beginning and it being one of your most
yeah,
meaningful projects.
yeah, absolutely. And we ran like a test run, and that was season 0, we call it.
Hmm.
I think we're on like season 5 or 6 now.
Okay.
Um, so it's been running over a year at this point. I think it's either over 150 or 200 players have gone through it.
Wow.
Which is a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of players. Like for those maybe that go
um,
under like under or that's like how many players that you would see like join like the like from the ink ups and like the LSLs. Like that's like a huge
mm,
number of individuals.
yeah, absolutely, it really is. And as you can imagine, that many players needs a lot of staff.
Yeah.
Um, I don't even know how many like team managers and coaches and then like the head staff who like make it all run. We've had Fisk could probably tell you that, but like we've had tens of coaches and tens of team managers, and I think there's like 5 or 6 head staff who make it all run. It is so much work.
Hmm.
I'm no longer directly involved with it, um, but I just look at what they do, and it is so incredibly like admirable, and I have the utmost respect for anyone who's ever been involved with it.
Hmm.
Um, the the recently I was I up until now I was like director of kind of like our blog post stuff and our content stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and I got the new position of org lead within like the last week or so.
Nice.
But the one thing that was preventing me, or not preventing me, the one thing that was giving me pause from accepting the org lead position
Hmm.
was potentially going back and being a team manager in the academy. Like
Oh, okay.
at times it was genuinely 50-50. Like
Yeah.
I did not know which one I wanted to do more. Um, at some points I was leaning more to doing the team manager. I loved it that much.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel like if I ever step down from the org lead position, the only other position at Stronghold I would want, at least from where I sit right now, I would want to be a team manager again. Because
Hmm.
that is the most meaningful position that I've ever had within the community.
Yeah. No, it has a lot of opportunity to bring those connections to the individuals that sign up and wish
Absolutely.
to achieve different things, and like whether it be like you mentioned before, like meeting new people, just getting a start in the competitive side of things, a mix of both.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's a good like building role that has a lot of power to it and that has a lot of a meaning for it.
Absolutely.
What do you want? Where do you, sorry, not what, where do you want the SBA to go further? Do you feel there's any room for it to, obviously besides growth side, like size growth, anything that you feel like could be um changed about it that would maybe make it maybe different in any way that would be an improvement?
As long as Fisk is at the helm, I'm very happy with with the
That's
direction that
fair.
the SPA is going in. Um, that the guy's humility, the guy's compassion, the guy's passion, everything about him is born to lead that program.
Awesome.
Um, I would want no one else, and like I don't want to make it seem like the Fisk show because I know that there are so many incredible people who work on that program as well
Hmm.
and who do such a good job. But I know Fisk too well. That like the guy's like a brother, bro. I
Yeah.
love Fisk. Shout out my goat. Um, and uh, as long as Fisk is at the wheel, I'll be comfortable with him steering the ship.
No, that's awesome, and that's all you can ask for is having someone that you really believe in that's going to be able to get the job done, if you couldn't do it
Genuinely,
yourself.
yeah. With like Stronghold more broadly outside of just the SBA, because
Hmm.
while the SBA is like by far the biggest thing we do,
Hmm.
I think the main thing that I see Stronghold overall kind of um the main direction and the main things that I want to see come from Strongholds as a whole, I want to see the other parts catch up because
Okay,
the
yeah.
SBA has like took off and absolutely run with it, and it's run with it from like from day one.
Hmm.
Um, I think there's so much potential in so many facets of this org, and I want each of them to be able to shine in their own way because they each offer something that the other can't.
Yeah.
Um, Specifically, I see a lot coming in the way of content from Stronghold soon.
Hmm.
Um, very cool. Again, I don't want to sit here and talk about all the cool people because I'll forget someone, and then like but the so like uh cool stuff coming content wise in brackets. I'm involved with that. It's cool.
Nice.
Um, like other training programs that we've had just like floating around for a while. I know there's been a lot of work done on a training program for coaches,
Hmm.
um, to kind of act as a way for coaches to be able to engage with the scene, um, um, and essentially be a very like full curriculum. It's run and managed by Enya, incredible person. If there's anyone whose trumpet needs to be tooted as much as Fisk, it's Enya's.
Hmm.
Absolute goat number two.
Hmm.
Um, I don't want to leave Hershey's name out of it. I said I wouldn't say names, but now I'm saying all the names because I said Fisk, and now I have to say all the names. Hershey, the person whose content stuff I talked about, Yellow, who writes all of our articles. Um, these are just the people that I've worked with the most closely.
Yeah.
If you're not on the list, I don't hate you. I do I have just worked with these people the most specifically. Um, just incredible people doing incredible work, and I think um I the main thing I want to see is I want to be able to help elevate all of the different people and allow them to have all of their work shine in the most that they can.
No, that's awesome, and I know you love to hear that. And you guys have made an incredible resource that is really a one-stop shop. Where like, I remember getting back into the scene, God, almost about to be almost 5 years ago now. And there wasn't a one-stop shop. You had to join like 6 different, Discord servers, follow certain social media accounts. And it's amazing to see how much Stronghold has bloomed and created many different outlets for anyone to find practically anything they're looking for.
I mean, that's the goal. So, um, if we can do anything to further service that, I hope it is done.
Yeah. So you made a post on Blue Sky not that long ago that you're interested in hopping into the interview train. And what made you want to start that? What made you want to start this next chapter in your community presence?
It was again, to kind of go back to how I felt about the SBA and how I applied to that. I kind of didn't think about it all that much, man. I don't know. Like I kind of just stared at it and I was like, "Wait, I like this. What?"
Yeah.
Um, so the history of me doing interviews is I started this project for Stronghold content
Hmm.
that was it's not finished yet. It will hopefully be finished soon. Um, that is essentially a how-to guide on how to fill a certain role within the community. I'm being very vague,
Hmm.
but I interviewed a lot of really cool people for it, um, who have a lot of experience, and in doing so, I was not necessarily interviewing in the way that I do now in at that time. Uh, for that project, I was very much so reading off a script. I had set questions written down because
Hmm.
it's going to kind of be a big compilation where you're going to see like me ask a question and then you're going to hear five people answer the same question. So
Hmm.
it has to be like very very like specific and tightly written, and it all has to like follow the same questions very strictly for the format to work.
Okay.
Um, so it didn't have the kind of same kind of looser style where we kind of just like flow between topics that I like to have now.
Hmm.
Because I don't like when I interview people, I don't write questions. Like
Hmm.
I don't write questions in advance. I'll like write down topics that I want to touch on, and then I'll I'll like brainstorm beforehand, like what I think are important facets of this thing, and I will like write. I'll have it in my mind that I want when I talk about this person's comp, like time and comp. I want to learn about how they like made off meta comps
Yeah.
and like what that was like for them and then how they got into commentating after that. And like I think the best thing that you can do as an interviewer is have curiosity,
Hmm.
because you can write all the questions you want and you can like follow those, and that's like it for it has a certain structure and a certain vibe to it, and I think it's equally valid and it works for people. But I think for me, I treat interviews as almost like when you're a kid and you trap an insect in a jar and then you're like tapping at the jar and you're like trying to learn how the insect works.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I feel like I just catch a player in a jar for like 30 minutes to an hour. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, what makes you tick?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to understand them as much as I'm trying to let the viewer understand them. And I think that's what I find most successful about my own interviews, is that I go in with the same curiosity that the viewer has.
Hmm.
And I go into it with the idea that like these are little critters and I have to help them understand the little critter.
Hmm.
um as to how that answers kind of what like how I got into the interview scene. It was very much so. I think that's always been a thing I've been interested in,
Okay.
not only to like get to understand what makes people tick, but like what makes anything tick. I
Hmm.
think I'm a person who likes to understand how things function. And when combined with like I like this game, I like this community, I like interacting with new people, and I like to know how things work. Those two things lead very naturally to wanting to interview people, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and through that like little exposure I had where I kind of agreed to do this interview project where I sat down and I talked to some people in the community. I then kind of got the kind of got a bit of a bug for it. I was like, ooh, I really enjoy learning um from people who've experienced so much
Hmm.
and who have very um who have very big opinions about things and who understand um who like understand something very well. I find it very fascinating to to like drag that out of them and like for me to be able to interact with. It's something where I almost don't really enjoy watching interviews
Hmm.
because I don't have that level of interaction.
Yeah.
Because I can't sit there and I can't ask someone the question and then like track what question I need to write as the follow up and sit there and like deconstruct this person's brain and learn like what how all of the different parts like lock into each other and feed off of each other and like understand the motivations of this person.
Hmm.
Um, and so I think it was the kind of the double whammy of this being like a thing that I've always like enjoyed doing, like just understanding people, and also having that just little exposure through doing one project where I interviewed a bunch of people and I got to learn how they worked. That I
Hmm.
was like, there's so many people in this community who I would love to sit down and talk to and
Yeah.
like get this information from and understand how they put so many hours into this game and how they put so many hours into building this community and what about it all is important to them because
Hmm.
I have very strong convictions about what matters in this game and like what like the purpose of why we're all here. And I hope that's come across. But like
Yeah. No, absolutely.
um to see how that works in other people is equally interesting and important to me
Hmm.
because like how am I supposed to do my job as someone who wants like anyone to be able to interact with anyway if I don't understand everyone and the ways that everyone wants to interact.
Yeah.
Like it's an impossible task for me to be able to like fully understand the entire community. But if I can understand enough individual people, I can start to build a pretty good picture, and then I think that'll benefit the the work that I do.
No, absolutely. And and I think that falls into like the one of the next questions I had, which was like, things you hope to achieve and do differently. And I think the biggest takeaway is that um you hope to, like you said, find out what makes them tick, find out what really
Mm,
what brought them into this in the first place and what keeps them going, and different different ways they like to see this game or see their spot in the community, and what's their driving force behind it all still.
mm. I think with my interviews, as I put out that post where um, I essentially just said, "Hey, I feel like interviewing people. Do you wanna be interviewed, Smile?" Um,
Yeah.
and I kind of expected a couple people. Like I knew some people who I interact with regularly would be down.
Hmm.
Um, but some of the people who like interacted, I was like, what do you mean people are just so willing to sit down and talk?
Yeah.
Like you'd be surprised who's able to like commit some time out of their day if you just ask.
Yeah.
And that's like another thing that I think goes unappreciated about not only about the scene but about like humanity. I think we're
Hmm.
so actually willing to help others if you just ask people. I
Yeah.
think like the biggest mistake I see people make is fearing like just messaging a person and being like, "Hey, I know you know a lot about XYZ. I was wondering if you could help me."
Hmm.
So many people in this community know so many things and are so willing to help you if you just talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember back then, when I was like still like getting into the comp scene, like that was always the one thing I think my biggest takeaway was whenever I would talk to people was that you can just ask, because like
Mm,
everyone is literally a Discord DM away. Um or even like I've seen some people on Blue Sky just tagging people because Blue Sky is just such a nice little like spot for our social media platform that we could just use to communicate very effectively. That just like tagging people in a post being like, hey, like can I get your 2 second thoughts on like this thing or that? And it's like it really shows that there is a lot of willingness, especially in this Splatoon community, to grow together and share whatever information anyone has learned.
Mm, completely. Um, I think with again, you were talking about like you said in there, what's your like 2 minutes thoughts on this? Like it because it doesn't have to be like they sit down with you and they give you like the full explainer in like a
Mm-hmm.
5 hour Discord call or whatever. As much as like that's really fun to do with people.
Yeah.
But like I find, and this is another thing that I really enjoy about how I at least how I try to do my interviews, because I feel like it takes so much. As much as I loved understanding how people work, I'm never going to see the full picture because I'm not them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's so hard, and you can sit, and the longer the interview, the more of the person you're going to be able to see, and the better you can understand them, which is definitely the perk of long form interviews.
Yeah.
When you're getting into that like hour plus, like kind of to 2 hour range, you really do get like the full sense, the full story. Like you're able to really understand the all of the individual bricks that built up this person. But at a certain point, I find it's better to understand 80% of the person in a quarter of the time than it is to spend 3 quarters of the interview trying to like get the last 20% out of them.
Yeah.
Um, because you can talk about a lot in a little, and you can condense a lot. You're gonna miss things, and that's just like a sacrifice that you have to be willing to take. But I think my favorite thing about like the ideal interview time for me is between like 25 to like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I think it's long enough that you're able to feel like you've tackled it with at least some level of depth, but short enough that like it feels manageable to not only create but consume. Um, that's another a big goal I have. I want it to be digestible because as
Mm-hmm.
much as there's so much value in creating really like in single place pieces where you sit and you're able to learn a lot about an individual. I
Mm-hmm.
find it so interesting to see how possible it is to condense all of the personality and achievements of an individual into 25 minutes.
No, absolutely, and like you said, especially I always called it like the TikTok effect, or so that because of like definitely like
Mm.
with help of the pandemic and stuff, but how short a lot of individuals' attention spans can be. Having something
Yeah.
that's a little more shorter and something that's a, like you said, a little more digestible, um, is definitely a huge help with how the attention span of whoever it might be watching, and I feel like it affects all different age groups with it. Be able to actually sit down and watch or just listen to what you have to offer.
Mm.
Is there anyone that you want to interview the most when you do begin
Ooh.
your interviews? I know you said you
Um,
made your post. You had a couple people like give suggestions or themselves come out and say they're willing to. But is there anyone in the community that you just really would love to have that 25-40 minute conversation with?
the big number one, and the one that I'm gonna take a bit of time before I get to and fully consider
Mm.
is Sendu. And I think
Okay.
that's almost a bit of an easy one to throw out, but it is also like I feel like I if there's any um interview that I want to go in with a lot of prep and a lot of understanding and like a lot of knowledge into, it's I want to go into the Sendu interview with that.
Hmm.
Um, I think I think that has the potential to be like the best Splatoon interview ever made. Like a good interview with Sendu.
Yeah.
I don't understand how something else can be better.
No, absolutely. Considering how much contribution they've had to the scene and just the community as a
Mm,
whole, I agree. I think that that would be one incredible interview to have.
mm. When it comes to others, I think personally, I think someone like Nine would also be high on the list.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I think Nine is the best commentator the Splatoon scene has ever had.
Hmm.
Um, also just in the other things that I've heard about how he interacts with others, and I just think he'd be a great person to sit down and have that chat with. K-Bot for the same reasons. Uh, um, I think post-retirement Kyo would be a really interesting
Oh,
interview to
okay.
have.
Yeah, no,
Um,
absolutely.
I kind of I have different because I do interviews on three channels.
Yeah, yeah.
I do interviews on my own personal channel. I do them for Beep, and there's one currently up on Stronghold. There's plans to be more,
Mm.
but they all have very different vibes. For for Beep, it's very much so like here's this top player who just won this tournament. Let's see how cool they think they are. It's very like it's very esports. It's very
Yes, yes.
you know it's very about the winning and the losing and the story and the there's a place for that, and like I understand that even if it's not like where my heart lies. I like seeing that in others, and I like understanding how that manifests itself in others and how it makes them tick,
Hmm.
even if it doesn't make me tick. um and then there's my personal channel, which is very much so like kind of I'm interested in how this person's work or how this person's personality has impacted the community.
Hmm.
It's very community focused. It's very here's this person who did a cool thing. Let's talk about the cool thing. Um, and then there's Stronghold, which is kind of focused specifically on um, people who've either come from the SBA or are otherwise affiliated. I think it's not fleshed out enough to say that that's a pattern when there's one of them, but I have a home for different interviews. Sendu, Nine, and Kwat I could see fitting more on my own channel than I could on Beep.
Hmm.
Yo, I feel like if I were to interview him, I'd want it to be on Beep.
Okay,
It
yeah.
just makes more sense. Um, and then really funnily, Fisk is on the list, even though like I interact with the guy every day. Um, I would like there's nothing stopping us from sitting down and like having the interview. We it's just something that like we've said, oh, we'll get to it. Um, but like again, this one is honestly kind of like the what I said for Sendu, where like I'd want to sit down and I'd really want to think about what I would want to ask Fisk,
Yeah.
because I think with how I normally conduct my interviews, which is like I'll get like a brief understanding of like a couple things. I'll say like, oh, they won this tournament recently. They're part of this org. They make these videos, whatever, and I'll just bullet point them down,
Hmm.
and then I will ask the questions that I need to know to understand it because
Yeah.
I didn't look into it. And through that, I have that curiosity that like is what the viewer is also wondering.
Hmm.
Because I feel like a trap people fall into sometimes is if you go into an interview with too much common ground and too much understanding of each other, you'll have assumptions
Yeah.
and you will forget or your natural like instinct doesn't inform that the viewer will not have those assumptions and they
Hmm.
will not have the same ability to grasp the things that you've already been interacting with, and you've already developed these like neural pathways and shortcuts to like better understand, and you won't like give the viewer the ability to build that up either. um, and that's something really difficult when you're interviewing someone so close to you. When you're interviewing someone that you interact with and work with on a daily basis, it's like I know all of these things about the guy. How do I best showcase that? because that's
Yeah.
what it becomes, right?
Yeah.
When you're so familiar with a topic or so familiar with a person, it's not about the curiosity anymore because you know it. It's about like showcasing. It's about finding the questions you need to ask and the lines that you need to follow to like fully showcase the depth of it as you understand it.
No, and that I think that's what will make like what makes or what will make your interviews so eye-catching and so like grasping to the viewer is being able to make something like as short as the time frame is, make it so meaningful.
Mm.
And like obviously like you have like right now with the three main like podcasts that are out there, obviously the Pop Goods Popcast, here we are on the Cactus Patch, and of course with the Beat being out being more esports focused, it'll be nice to have something different that has more of an impactful meaning behind the interviews than just let's talk about this topic for today.
Mm. Yeah. I think it can be a bit of a trap to fall into where you see like, oh, person just won tournament, let's bring them on and have them talk about the tournament. But like, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I don't think most viewers are watching because of the tournament.
Yeah, no,
they're
yeah.
not like they're not like, oh, Kyo just won fucking Super Jump 6, like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're not like, oh, I want to hear about all of the prep they did for this one tournament, and I want to hear about like what the bracket looks like. They don't care about the specific tournament, and I think that's like there's definitely a place for like this big event just happened, let's look at it. But I think what's so much more impactful is like this person exists. Like let's look at the things that they've done and like what they're about.
Mm-hmm.
When you focus too much on being news and when you focus too much on being like on the current events, you miss the forest for the trees, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And you become you covered the event and missed the point.
Yeah.
Um, because this is a single step in a marathon, and you're covering how big the step was, and not look at this person's marathon they're running.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's a place for both because some steps are real big.
Yeah, no,
sometimes
exactly.
sometimes
Yeah.
people do really cool things, and it's worth spotlighting like um, individual aspects of what they've done. But I think for me the big thing is like, okay, but why does it all matter? Like,
Yeah.
what are we here to do? Like, why does this person turn on their Switch every day?
Yeah.
Why do they roll out of bed? What makes them eat breakfast? Like,
Yeah, what's their driving force?
yeah, that's like by far the most interesting part to me, and what I think is most interesting to the viewer as well.
No, absolutely. I love that meaning for wanting to start these, and I honestly can't wait to see where it goes from because you have me excited.
I listen. I I don't know where it's gonna take me,
Hmm.
um, and it's something I started on a whim, and it's something I'm gonna continue on a whim.
Yeah,
I'm not
heck yeah.
gonna I'm not gonna create these big plans. I'm not gonna give it a name. I'm not gonna brand it. It's just gonna be one Splatoon interview after the other.
Hmm.
Again, I'm in focusing on other people's marathons, I'm focused on the steps I'm taking.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here saying this is the marathon I want to run. To go all the way back to the beginning of our conversation talking about goals. I
Hmm.
don't want to be the best interviewer in the world.
Yeah.
I want to do an interview tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
We've come full circle. It's circulating back to its original meaning.
Truly poetic. Um
um
I think that's the thing in everything I do.
yeah.
I don't want to set the goal on the moon.
Hmm.
Because there's like something to say, like there's that one quote like aim for the moon and you'll land among the stars and all that. But
Yes,
it's
yes,
like
yeah.
I don't know. I'll like I'll just like take one step at a time, and then I'll walk a marathon. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's just a better way to look at it. Because if you're aiming for the highest you'll ever be, and you're running towards that all the time, you're never gonna be happy. But if
Hmm.
I'm like, tomorrow I want to take 10 steps, and then I take 10 steps, and I'm like, cool, I'll do that again tomorrow.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's about making the largest goal more achievable by breaking it down into much smaller, more realistic challenges for yourself.
Absolutely.
Well, as we're nearing towards the end of my lovely questions list, is there anything lastly that you would love to go over or mention as we are nearing the end of this episode?
I think we were able to cover a lot of, if not everything that I really wanted to talk about.
Hmm.
Um, the main thing, if you're gonna take anything from this, it's just that no matter how you want to interact with this game, and more importantly, this community, that is okay. And you
Hmm.
should have a space, and you should have people, and you should have that community and the resources that you need, and you should be able to partake in that uninhibited and with all of the force and might that you have. Um, and as long as it's possible for this scene to be better at enabling people to grow as people, um, through this again silly little Squid Game, as long as it's possible to trick people into becoming better people through this game, I'm gonna be here, and I'm not gonna stop until uh, I don't see myself stopping. I'm not even gonna put a time frame on it. Again, one day at a time. I don't see myself stopping.
I love it. Truly, truly inspirational. Truly something strong to take away from this interview. Roa, thank you so much for coming on to the Cactus Patch and discussing just your presence in the community. I like to kind of call this little last section passing the mic, where you feel free to give any shout outs you wish to shout out. Mention anything lastly, that you'd like to, even though you've kind of left off on a truly whimsical ending, but shout yourself out as well. Like, by all means, the floor is yours.
So, if you wanna find what I do, you can find my Blue Sky. It's Roa, RADHA .splstrong.com on Blue Sky. If you want to find my interviews, it's linked on my Blue Sky. But if you want just my YouTube, it's Ismisha Roa. That's Irish for I am Roa. It is ISMISERADHA. If you just search Roa Splatoon, I think it might also show up. Um, actually, no, I think if you search Roa Splatoon, Fisk comes up first, which is really funny. Um,
That's pretty good.
uh, so yeah, if you want to follow me or watch my content, those are the places you go do that. Um, Stay tuned on all things Stronghold, SplatoonStronghold.com, um, on Blue Sky, um, and just it's gonna be a big year for competitive Splatoon. That's all I'm gonna say. I see so many people behind the scenes cooking up so much incredible stuff right now that if people talk about like the missed opportunities that like sometimes can happen when we jump from game to game, and like we should have been locked in harder. I haven't seen the community lock in this hard before.
Hmm.
Um, I think 2026 is the big year. If there's a you can quote this at the end when we're crossing into 2027 and we've had the best Splatoon year of all time. You can pull up this quote and you can be like, damn, Roa got it. Um, but yeah, uh, keep track of me, keep track of Stronghold. This year's going to be big. There's so many cool people. Try and be one of them. Try and engage.
Mhm.
Try and find value in this scene. Try and contribute value to this scene. It is the best thing that I've done, and it's probably the best thing that I continue to do actively. Um, this has been an absolute joy to be able to sit here and kind of regale you with my life tale. Um, and I'm very excited to see what the future holds. Thank you to so many people who make what I do possible. Um, Again, just to list a few: Fisk, Enya, Hershey, Yellow, my girlfriend Sam, um, uh, people from Less Than Three Pancakes, Altalyra, Ari, Pumpkin, Oshus, the original gang. Like, so many people have like touched my life through this game, and I want to continue to help bring up joy in the souls of others through it too.
Well, you have me excited, especially after this little interview about what you have planned. And I love that you're manifesting it, putting it out there that this will be the best year of Splatoon. So I'm definitely going to be keeping track, not only, of course, with what happens in the scene, but what you have cooking up behind the scenes as well. There's a lot of fun stuff, like you said, that's definitely being made in all aspects of the community. So only time will tell. And we're only 9 days into the year, and we've already had some major announcements too, um,
Oh yeah.
lined up for whether it be the next couple months, whether it be towards the end of the year. A lot of great stuff coming soon. So Roa, once again, thank you so much for coming on and telling us your community spotlight, your presence and things you have accomplished and what you're looking forward to doing next. But that's gonna do it from us here at the Cactus Patch. If you're still listening on in, don't forget to keep watching because the uh we have your weekly Triton Cup coming up in about 25 or so minutes. So maybe grab a snack and get ready to enjoy some amazing gameplay. But that'll do it from us here. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.